What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fourth and Goal, your weekly injury digest, part of the Injury Experts channel. Dave and myself are here to give you all the injury updates and to keep your team healthy. No hot takes, Dave. Let's roll with it.
Yeah.
How you doing? Week three up. All the cuts happening right now.
Rahul, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Like you just mentioned, no hot takes. Preseason is done. Roster cut down day was yesterday at 4 o'clock. If you saw our show last week, we kind of speculated that there were going to be a lot of trades unfolding, and they have occurred. And they're still going to happen over the next few days. Teams see players that got released that were like, oh, we like that guy. So unfortunately, some guys that just made the 53-man roster aren't officially safe yet. They could still be cut or traded in the next couple of days. So until, the weekend kind of comes up, then we'll know exactly, the team's initial 53-man roster as we move into week 1.
Let's go, dude. Almost a week away. Taylor Swift's get engaged to Kelsey. And oh my God, football season's right up there. All CBS, Fox, everyone's going to eat up into that news. I don't know. It's going to be a lot. Okay, let's jump into back to football. Let's start with Lamar Jackson. So dude went out on August 20th with random injuries. I think there was not clear reporting initially, but then he came back like 2 days back and looks like he's fine. Anything to be concerned about there? I mean, they've been talking about wrist, ankle, multiple random things. So is it just like small camp niggles?
Yeah, I think it's just a little, little bumps and bruises. You're going to get stepped on. And if you ever played a sport where cleats are required and you get stepped on, it freaking hurts. So especially with Lamar, he's the franchise out there in Baltimore. They're going to play it safe with him. He has these, nicks and bruises that come up from time to time, but he hasn't really had that huge, significant season-ending injury. So I wouldn't be too concerned about week 1 or anything for Lamar. If you're going to draft this week, you're still going to take him as one of the top four quarterbacks in your draft, no doubt about it.
Hey, uh, I know we typically try and stick to wide receivers, tight ends, all the offensive weapons. Falcons, we have to talk about their O line, and I think it's going to have some impact on Penix, uh, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London, and even like Bijan, both their tackles are injured now. Any updates on that? I mean, just going through it, Storm Norton, probably people have never heard of this guy's name, but he was their tackle. He's out for 8 weeks. That's like a
Yep.
big blow.
hmm
And then Caleb McGarry, he's out too. Week one is debatable.
So
It's gonna be concerning for the Falcons there.
yeah, and I mean it's something that, if you're a serious fantasy football player, which hopefully you are if you're watching this channel, of course the offensive line plays a huge part into offensive production. If you don't have a good line, your offense probably isn't going to be good. Thing to remember about Michael Penix, he is left-handed. So the blind side protector is going to be that right
Right
tackle.
tackle. Yeah.
So yes, I was just on the Falcons website looking at their depth chart. Top left tackle is Jake Matthews. He's still healthy. That's good. He's been a stalwart out there for years. Their starting right tackle was Caleb McGarry, as you mentioned. He signed like a 2-year, $30 million extension. So he was, Atlanta liked him. He was carted off, and now news came out yesterday. He's out for the whole season.
Hmm.
So inevitably, I was looking at their depth chart. Storm Norton was going to be the next guy up to play right tackle, Penix's blindside protector. He had ankle surgery. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. So now you're
Man.
on your third string offensive tackle protecting your. He's not a rookie, but the first year starting quarterback, Michael Penix, going to affect him. Going to affect Bijan Robinson. I'm sure they're going to make a move, whether it's a trade or signing a free agent or something, to try to protect Penix's blindside. I'm still going to take Robinson, top 3 pick in the draft, but it's something that I'm going to keep my eye on just because if Penix can't be protected, it has a domino effect.
100%, 100%. Let's jump on to some wide receivers. There are a couple of big updates. Godwin was activated from PUP, and I still don't see him playing till October, Dave. Like, I mean, he had a Dak Prescott-like injury. It's no way he bounces back in less than a year to come and play top level.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's something I think the coach and GM came out and said that, hey, even though we're activating Chris Godwin, that does not mean he is going to be ready for week one, week two. They said, it's only because we want him to start practicing and begin the ramp up process. A ramp up process is different for everyone, especially with someone who had a severity of injury that Chris Godwin had. Like you mentioned, they put a timeline on October. Could that mean end of September? Sure. Could that mean it could linger into November? Yeah. They really don't know, but it's a serious injury, like you mentioned, ankle dislocation. You need your ankles to plant, cut, explode out of the cut for a wide receiver. So, I don't expect Chris Godwin back my prediction, probably week 6, week 7 or so.
Okay. We'll see. Like, I mean, they still have Ekbuka and Mike
Mike Evans.
Evans,
Yep.
Kate Otten, but again, what do you say? McMillan's out for the season, so
Mhm.
it's going to be interesting. The other big wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, signed the contract. I know it's not an injury update, but he didn't practice throughout training camp. How's the ramp up typically look like for? I mean, he's an elite wide receiver. I'm sure he's been like working out, practicing, and everything. But in the past, we've seen so many hamstring injuries, especially for wide receivers and running backs, and the speed they take off. I don't know, a little concerning, but I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you're a little concerned about. I wouldn't say you're overly worried about it, but it's definitely on your radar. You're hoping that he's keeping himself in great shape. By all accounts, it looks like he has. But like you mentioned, it's different from being in shape and being ready to, playing football games. So the ramp up process usually takes about a couple weeks, trying to get you acclimated to, really the rigors of an NFL practice, NFL schedule. So those soft tissue injuries inherently do have an increased risk when you haven't been practicing for so long. But with that being said, I think he's going to play week one. May he be on a slight snap limitation? Perhaps, but I don't think it'll be anything crazy. He'll still probably play 75, 80% of the snaps. By week two, week three, he's going to be out there for all of their offensive snaps that his packages are a part of.
Little late to the party for contracts and sitting out is Raiders' Jacoby Myers. And literally once he announced his trade request, they go and sign Amari Cooper. I mean, he's still a serviceable. I mean, he had a bad year, but he's a elite wide receiver. But I don't know how at the age of 31 he's going to bounce back. It's going to be interesting for the Raiders. I mean, Geno Smith comes in. Who's he going to throw to? Brock Bowers,
Yeah.
bona fide wide receiver one. He's not a tight end one there. It's going to be. I'm curious. I think they're going to keep Myers. What's your inkling out there?
It is everything that I've seen. It seems like they are standing pat. They're not going to trade him. And it's unless someone takes up money or something like that. I think that's what I saw. It's something with taking up money. He wants more guaranteed money. They're not willing to do that. So they're going to stand firm and not trade him. But it's funny, like you mentioned, literally an hour after he requested the trade, team signs Amari Cooper. I think Cooper may still have something left. Fantasy wise, I wouldn't expect a ton from him. But I mean, I just saw a tweet from FanDuel. So the year is 2025, and Amari Cooper's a Raider. Brandon Cooks is a Saint.
Saint. Yep.
Adam Thielen is now back to being a Minnesota Viking, and Keenan Allen is a Los Angeles Charger.
Let's go.
You would think it's 2015. That was how it was 10 years ago. Time is a flat circle, apparently.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's going to be fun. Couple
Yep.
of I just want to run through some. I mean, not major fantasy impact wide receiver, but be mentionable wide receiver injuries and suspensions. Demarcus Robinson, he's suspended for 3 games. 49er wide receiver is pretty much barren right now. Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle and CMC. And then they traded for Brian Robinson. So that's going to be interesting for the 49ers. What's your take with the 49ers? Are there any other offensive weapon you're targeting outside of the QB, tight end one, running back one, and Ricky Pearsall?
I mean, I like historically, like I like what he did last year, Jawan Jennings, but he's another one. He's in a contract stalemate who also has a calf injury. And, we've discussed the calf injury in previous videos. For wide receiver, that's something to be concerned about. And I think I saw one of their beat reporters say they're not ruling out possibly putting him on short-term IR. So he could be out the first 4 weeks of the season. I think I just saw that tweet yesterday. So it's Wednesday. He tweeted that yesterday on Tuesday. So it's something like I do like Jawan Jennings, but not if he's going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. That's naturally going to knock back his ADP. Right now, huge boost to George Kittle. I would probably take him Probably tight end too, behind Brock Bowers.
You're
Um,
skipping on Trey McBride, and
I don't know. I feel like I'm more down on the Cardinals than other folks. I mean, I do like Kyler Murray's talent. I just haven't seen him put it together for a full season. And I need, Marvin Harrison Jr. needs to step up. The whole offense needs to continue to step up out there in Arizona. But if I had my choice of McBride or Kittle right now, today, I'm going to take George Kittle over Trey McBride, excuse me.
okay, cool. And a couple of other wide receiver, not major discussions on them. Johnny Wilson from the Eagles, he's out potentially season ending there,
Yeah,
and
it stinks. Yeah, it's my guy. Big blocking
uh,
wide receiver. So
yeah.
that only maybe plays into part with Saquon. He was a big blocker as part of their offense. I don't think it's going to be a huge down
I mean, they
production.
signed John Mechie, so they're fine.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
fine
they're
out
fine.
there.
It's just it hurts me as an Eagles fan. He was having a good training camp. Johnny Wilson, we'll
Yeah.
see you next year.
Yep, and same with Jalen Polk, last year second round pick by the Patriots, but I think they compensated by signing Diggs and Kyle Williams this year from the
Mhm.
draft. Two big running back injuries, Dave. We saw Joe Mixon had a murky reporting leading up to the training camp, like July, August, and yesterday and 2 days back, like reports started coming, like he's having injections, he's doing like random different things. It doesn't look good out there. Looks like Nick Chubb and Woody Marks are going to be the two running backs leading out there. And I'm staying away from Mixon. Just like reading by the reports, like let's say he even comes back like week 6. What's the ramp up going to look like? Fantasy impact is not great there, but maybe I'm wrong. What's your take on that?
I actually don't think you're wrong. So I actually just had my home league draft this past weekend. And when Joe Mixon, one of my buddies, took Joe Mixon in the seventh round, I laughed because I was like, I don't know what he obviously is not following this channel. He's not following anything because so first and foremost, the injury, he's on the NFI list, right? So the non-football injury list. So it did not occur at a team facility or anything like that. It happened while he was away from work. Generally, teams don't like that because if you're getting ready for the season, they want you on team facility. They can treat you there. It's just better from a contract standpoint. So that happened. So one, we don't really know how it happened. Two, we don't know if it's his ankle, his foot. It's of potential injuries. So that's something serious. And then two, literally before we started recording this, um, GM Nick Caserio came out and I think he was asked by a reporter after Mixon misses these first 4 games, what's going to happen? Is he going to play this year? And the GM said, we don't know. We're going to take it day by day. So we're already talking about maybe potential season-ending injury that we don't know of.
Or
At
he
this
might get
point,
cut. He
yeah,
might
I
get
mean,
cut.
yeah,
I
because
mean,
the team's probably pissed and they're like, hey, you violated your contract. We don't owe you any guaranteed money. We'll let you go. And I'm sure they're kind of scouring over the waiver wire heap to see if there's any other available options. I'm not huge in on Nick Chubb. If anyone, I like Woody Marks as a stash. I think they took him like fourth round, maybe of the draft. So clearly they like his talent. Um, and someone's going to have to run the ball for Houston. New offensive coordinator. They want to be more balanced, try to avoid CJ Stroud getting hit as much, taking sacks. So whoever emerges as RB1 has some value out there in Houston for fantasy wise. To me, right now, seems like it's going to be Woody Marks pending another move.
yeah. I still feel Nick Chubb's gonna have something left. Like I know like he's 2 years off from his surgery. Maybe like he turns 30. It's a big bag. I don't know. I think there's still something left there. I don't think they're gonna start with Woody Marks game one. They're gonna give Nick Chubb his due touches, and if he doesn't perform, it's probably gonna jump onto Woody Marks there.
I could see it maybe being like kind of like when last year when the Chiefs brought back Kareem Hunt. And a lot of people kind of turned their nose away at it. They're like, Pacheco's the guy. But then Pacheco got hurt, and that's when they brought him back. And, he had value. He wasn't lighting it up every week, but he was getting, a classic Kareem Hunt line from last year would be like 16 carries, 50 yards, but a touchdown. That's,
Yeah,
over 10
classic.
PPR points. I'll take it.
Yeah. Uh, the last major injury we wanted to touch on was Tyjae Spears. He's placed on the IR, out for 4 weeks. Tony Pollard's going to get the rock. I don't think they're probably going to be conservative with Cam Ward. He's, I mean, he's looked great in the preseason, but Tony Pollard's going to get a lot of work. and Tyjae Spears, when he comes back, would be a good boost, depending on how the Titans start the season and how they're going to go about that one. I'll
Yeah.
be interested how that team. That's kind of like interesting. Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard are the only players, in my opinion, draftable out there.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely lacking on offensive firepower. And you look at their week one slate, they're playing Denver. They're currently the biggest underdog of the week. I think Denver's favored, last I checked, by like 7.5. But we mentioned Tyjae Spears in our first, preseason week one, high ankle sprain. He was still in a walking boot as of this weekend. So that tells me, he's going to be out for a number of games. They placed him on the short-term IR, like you mentioned, out for 4 weeks. So Tony Pollard's going to get RB1 volume. Will he get RB1 production? Hard to say. They got a tough couple games to start the season, and we don't really know what their offense is going to look like. I mean, they have an offensive-minded head coach, but you got a rookie quarterback. So, like you said, they're going to try to ease Cam Ward into it, have a little bit of a balanced attack. So, if you're someone that took Tony Pollard in the mid to late round of your draft, you're probably feeling pretty good right
Yeah.
now because at least you have options for him. You could throw him as your flex. If in a pinch you need an RB2, you're okay there. Their schedule, like I mentioned, is tough, but Tony Pollard has a great opportunity in front of him to really seize this job and really, even when Spears comes back healthy, to kind of keep Spears on the bench for the most part.
It's funny you mentioned they're 7.5 points underdog. Every year this happens, one big underdog defeats the favorites. Last year we saw the Patriots defeat the Bengals. So I wouldn't rule out. I think it's going to be interesting
Never
line out
know.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it for this week. I think next week is going to be interesting. Leading up to, we'll have the final rosters before our next show. And meanwhile, we'll be updating you. Dr. Morse will be releasing a couple of videos every day, pretty much to cover major players because a lot of drafts are going down this week. This weekend is going to be huge. More than 1 million drafts are predicted by some reports, so it's going to be interesting. And if you have any questions or concerns, just put it on the comments, and myself and Dave will respond to you any questions. And check out our next show. We'll see you guys next week. Take care, Dave.
Yep. You too. Good luck, everyone.